If you really want to report something worthwhile, you have to make the process as difficult as you possibly can for yourself. You have to absorb every detail that you can physically and mentally and emotionally cope with. And then you have to do your job and make it simple so that people can follow what you're talking about.
Lara Logan has worked with some difficult, complex situations. She's known for going into the heart of war-torn countries such as Afghanistan and Iraq. Her reporting made her a top war correspondent. She always balanced discovering the truth in the conflicts while keeping herself and her team safe. That was until one fateful day when she went to Egypt. It started with the sounds of celebration over a falling regime. It then turned into a tragic one after a tragic attack. Keep watching to learn what happened to Lara Logan and why it's extremely heartbreaking. Lara Logan was born in South Africa on March 29, 1971. She grew up in a well-off family where she had whatever she wanted. Her world was shattered when her father revealed he had another family on the side and was going to go live with them. It gave her permanent trust issues that shaped her life and her career choices. Lara decided to go into journalism. She wants to dedicate her life to finding what she felt was the truth. She began her career with various news organizations in her home country in the 90s. She also earned money as a swimsuit model on the side. Enemies tried to use these photos to discredit her, but her reporting rose nevertheless. Becoming a top war correspondent. Lara's reporting caught national attention. She was particularly noted for reporting on the American invasion of Afghanistan in 2011. She often reported directly from the battlefield in Afghanistan and Iraq. She also interviewed famous figures such as Robert Ballard. She was officially hired as a CBS News correspondent in 2002. She later became their chief foreign affairs correspondent. Lara's work also began to earn her awards recognition. They include American Women in Radio and Television Gracie Award in 2004, the David Kaplan Award Overseas Press Club in 2006, David Bloom Award Radio and Television Correspondents Association in 2007, the Daniel Pearl Award in 2011, and the National Press Club's John Abuchan Press Freedom Award in 2011. The attack in Egypt. Lara's popularity rose because of her willingness to go where no one else would. She thrived in and asked to go to the middle of fighting in the Middle East. She was always lucky enough to be able to report from and come home from these scenes without a scrape. Then her luck ran out one day. How it began. Hosni Mubarak's Egyptian belief had finally fallen. Tens of thousands of people filled Tahrir Square to celebrate. 60 Minutes correspondent Lara Logan knew it was a newsworthy event. She went to cover the activity with a team that included producer Max McClellan and cameraman Richard Butler. They had locals in Egypt, including a fixer named Baha, 2 Egyptian drivers who also acted as bodyguards, and a security man named Ray. Despite the preparation, it eventually became her most dangerous assignment. She said that when she entered Cairo, it seemed like a party. There was a roar of excitement. The citizens were chanting and singing songs of revolution. She was pushed around in the crowds, but her team did their best to protect her. There was no hint of danger for over an hour. Then the mood changed. Baha was the only one who could speak Arabic and warned her to get out. Getting attacked. A mob turned on Lara and her team. They signaled her out for a violent sexual assault. Someone in the crowd seemed to think she was an Israelite Jew, which wasn't true, but it got them incensed. Multiple people were grabbing her from everywhere and tearing at her clothing. Ray tried to pull her away. Rob yelled at them to get away, but it only seemed to stir them up. The camera recorded her screaming, "Stop." All she could do was try to hold on to Ray. She felt he was her only hope. He was eventually torn away and ended up with the sleeve of her jacket in his hand. That made her feel as if all hope was lost. She feared the mob would literally tear her apart. Thoughts of her daughter and son gave her the strength to keep fighting for at least 25 minutes. Getting free. The mob dragged her until they stopped at a random fence. That's when she finally found an escape. A group of Egyptian women were camped out at the spot. Lara fell into the lap of a woman dressed in a chador. She and others formed a shield around her. They threw water into the crowd and over her to help her get her breath. They bought her enough time for a group of soldiers to come in. They beat the mob back, and Lara clung to the first soldier she could find. He put her on his back. They beat the crowd back until they could get out. Lara was eventually reunited with her crew. Max apologized on his knees. He later said she looked limp like a rag doll who was physically and emotionally spent. When they got to their hotel, a doctor examined her. They went back to the U.S. the next morning, but she didn't go home right away. She stayed at a hospital for 4 days to treat her sore muscles, distended joints, and other injuries. Fortunately, she made it out with no broken bones. Seeing her children again was a major moment. She felt like she'd been given a second chance. At the same time, she almost felt she didn't deserve it because she came so close to nearly leaving them. Telling her story. What's braver than going into the thick of a dangerous regime to report about it? Going back to 60 Minutes to talk about it. She had no idea before the attack just how common sexual harassment and violence were in Egypt. She also didn't realize how much it's accepted in the country. A 2008 survey by the Egyptian Center for Women's Rights found that 83% of native Egyptian women and 98% of foreign women there have been sexually harassed. 62% of men even admit to sexual harassment. All journalists were at higher risk on the day. The fallen regime had sent gangs of thugs into the crowds. They wanted to hide the reality of the revolutionary violence against journalists, especially foreign ones. Lara hopes that telling her story will increase awareness all around the world, especially for female journalists like herself. She doesn't want female journalists to be blamed or forced to stop their jobs because of facing situations like hers. She wants the world to remember, as she puts it,
because they do it for the same reasons as me. They're committed to what they do. They're not adrenaline junkies. They're not glory hounds. They do it because they believe in being journalists.
Lara Today. There have been many news outlets on both sides arguing about whether Lara should or shouldn't have reported in Egypt in the first place. All that matters is that she's safe and has spread a light on the issue. Lara says she's been dealing with the fallout of the incident by keeping busy. She's distracted herself from her thoughts with her life at home. She said,
between my kids and keeping the house together and keeping my work going and supporting my family, I don't really have time to think about much else.
She said that she's feeling much better and stronger now. The mental pain may never fully heal. She's dealt with panic attacks and intimacy issues, but has been healing. As she said,
I'm good. I won't pretend that it's easy. Some days are harder than others.
Lara's decision to share her story was primarily to help others who've gone through similar circumstances. She has advice for how they can get over the feeling of being a victim and try to take back what their attackers took from them. In her own words,
someone took a lot from you. It doesn't mean they get all of you. Doesn't mean they get the rest of your life. That's a powerful place to be if you can get there, because you're not a victim when you decide how much they get.
She also had another hill to climb when she was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2012. She underwent a liposectomy and 6 weeks of radiation. It made her mental issues even worse, and they still may be affecting her today. Losing her career. Her story in 2013 about the 2012 Benghazi attack was retracted due to factual errors. She publicly apologized. It led to her being forced to take a leave of absence. She left CBS in 2018. When she got back into the news, her long-held fears of being conspired against or seeming weak ended up hurting her career. She made strange claims that sounded more like conspiracy theories about issues like AIDS virus and the Rothschild family. She joined the Sinclair Broadcast Group in 2019. She went to the streaming service Fox Nation in 2020, but shared she'd been dumped by the network in March of 2022. She'd been a board member of America's Future since June of 2022. It's a nonprofit chaired by former Trump administration official Michael Flynn. Now it's time to hear from you. Who's your favorite war correspondent? Let us know in the comments section below.